These are White House passes.
Yeah, that might mean we're going to the White House.
I've always loved, big action movies, and the coolest place to do one of these would be inside the White House. It's a location that is tight and contained, but at the same time can be explosive and huge.
Sir, we're at DEFCON 1. The nuclear football in the White House just went live.
To see that come to life on a grand scale is amazing.
Jamie Vanderbilt, the writer, did a very, very good job in making it feel big.
The whole movie takes place in and around the White House, and that's one of the few locations in the world where you really are not allowed to shoot anywhere. So the biggest challenge for us is to create the location.
This was a hell of a job. It was really, really a very difficult project. This had to be done in a more comprehensive way.
We've got these huge areas and huge sets and huge lighting setups.
There's an enormous amount of action that happens within it, special effects, both visual and practical. In order to translate that on a film set, we had to reproduce everything.
They've done right by building the set to scale that even if we were to shoot something on the set right now and say we were in the White House, they would really believe it.
It was a volume job.
We had every stage in Montreal, and we were constantly on the look for extra stages.
Kirk just made it happen. He worked his ass off across 7 stages at Mel's studios in Montreal, plus warehouses that extended out of that because they weren't big enough to hold us.
So this is one of the sound stages. So how many do we have? 10.
Pretty much everything I've seen has blown my mind.
Hummingbird, this is Castle Ground. You are clear.
This morning we visited a set, the South Portico, where usually have the President's helicopter land in front, Marine One. And this is all built to scale. It's just gigantic.
In order to get the enormity of the South Lawn and the South Portico, and something that would be big enough to bring a tank into, as well as Marine One, we had to go outsourcing. We looked at airport hangars, but none were available. And we found this great bubble. It's an indoor golf driving range, and it was perfect.
The bubble is amazing. I mean, they've lit it so that it actually looks like you're outside.
You look terrible. Thank you for everything you did today.
We had a lot of fun recreating Marine One, because you can't get Marine One, you have to build it. We had to find a carcass and land it right in front of the South Portico of the White House on stage.
Hey, Em! You want to take a ride? Our canvas is so much broader, using technology to expand set pieces. There's almost no limitations to giving the audience something that you haven't seen before.
In this case, we had this idea that they go so low in the streets that the White House ccannot see them.
Drop to 10 feet!
And then they get caught because they fly so low that they set off a traffic light, which was just a cool thing to do.
Are you ready?
For this movie, we did build pretty much most of the city of Washington in the exactly correct scale from Google Earth, satellite pictures, and measurements that we took. We could create the environment correctly in the computer and then feed that in on set and see exactly what's where.
I'm right outside the Capitol.
The sets are incredible. On the rooftop fighting scene, it's all screen around, but if they've got the CGI stuff up on a computer, they'll put you in there with what's actually happening, so you can see the helicopters.
For the rooftop sequence, we have 2,500 squibs in that set. We have over 100,000 feet of cable running to those squibs. The last sequence we ran 600 hits in one take, which I've never come close to that before.
Nobody ever sort of went, we have to kind of take it easy. Everybody went to ridiculous lengths in terms of making it as true to life as humanly possible.
We really had an enormous team that worked tirelessly, come up with and complete a pretty exact replication of the White House grounds and Capitol and the DC area. And I'm really very, very proud of that.
Kale, come check this out.
Okay, let's do something that has nothing to do with what people expect.
You can go as radical as you want to go.
It's not your typical day in Washington.
Definitely not very conventional.
I don't even know how she's done it.
She just does it differently.
Anna, our DP, is making incredible, sculpted, meticulous paintings with every frame.
Very early, we established a look for this movie. Very extreme, very contrasty, very marginal, how we actually approach certain things. Very hard for that size of movie and for that genre, that's for sure.
When she, Roland, and I spoke, they weren't interested in telling the story that's been told before.
Subject is John Cale.
Anna and Roland pushed for new vision.
In this movie, we again, set the bar relatively high.
Roland pushes all of us in a direction to create a look, and we're coming up sometimes with crazy stuff.
She is incredibly gifted at telling the story with a lens.
She thinks about the shots, where to put the camera. Everything is about the story.
You let me know the second you find these guys.
I'm not having every lead actor always in this perfect close-up. They're standing in a dark corner, and now they move into the light, and now they're silhouette, and now they're overexposed. It creates something real and immediate. It's uneasy because we go with those people through those different radical lighting scenarios. And I think that augments the emotional feeling of it.
Emily Cale! I have a hunch Daddy's gonna come back for his little girl.
We just shot this movie really wide.
It's very powerful. With the wide lenses, you can capture so much action as well of the whole scope.
She's worked incredibly hard. When you have a set that you don't believe there's any way you can see it all, and you do see it all, I think that's extraordinary filmmaking.
She's a true artist. When you walk in the set, you really feel the morning light pouring through the windows.
Mr. President.
How's the tour going?
That's how real it looked, and it's just all fantastic because you just felt you're there.
But we're on a stage. It's the White House sets, including the exterior, and then it's a blue screen.
The cinematography and the visual effects definitely go hand in hand.
It's the whole film.
You have to be very careful how you plan certain scenes and certain shots, that you can position the cameras and the people in a way that it makes sense.
Because everything is affected by everything. Whatever will be behind the blue screen will have a cast of light onto what we're shooting here. So it has to be very well thought through. It's something that she is very, very good at and very diligent about.
It involves a lot of thinking and hard work to figure out how you can do it and still look natural.
All these kind of things add up to like a very different looking action film. It's my first action movie in a long time.
What time does my wife get in?
1845.
Wake me if civilization ends.
It's about the White House. It's the first time I don't totally blow it up.
What the hell is happening?
I just do it bit by bit.
Okay, let's go.
Roland really likes to play with icons. And if you look at the content of his films, they're fun event movies, and they take place and unfold over a global scale.
Incoming!
It's really fun to watch him work in this environment.
This was in his destiny. This movie has big ideas that have to do with real-world human issues.
My daughter's downstairs.
Move!
Where are you?
Where are you at? I'll come get you.
He really focuses on the story. At the same time, nobody shoots mayhem better.
Roland gets up every day and makes this work. The size and the scope of this project, it's a monster job.
We need a location!
When you're working with Roland, you're going to need a bigger stage. Everything was built. Even the exteriors were built.
Helicopters, tanks, that can be very challenging because we were shooting the movie indoors on a stage.
Great!
There are iconic Roland Emmerich moments in the movie. He puts the camera in positions that nobody would ever think of.
There's a certain scope to his movies and to visually how he approaches it. But I think what makes it fun to work with him as well is that it's not just about that.
That was good.
And cut.
This movie has all the things I like. It has suspense, story, a lot of good characters, which I'm always drawn to.
John Cale. James Hoy. Let me get you out of here.
I think one of the things about Roland that people don't realize is how much of an actor's director is.
Politicians always love talking about sacrifice.
You think I don't know anything about sacrifice doing this job? How many people come to your house and want to kill you?
He always has some idea. There's something you didn't think of as an actor that makes this movie even better.
I know your story, Emil. I know what this country did to you. We're in this together.
It's great to have a person who allows you to bring in your voice and bring in your ideas.
Your daughter says that I'm her hero, and I gotta earn that.
Right.
I love how Roland captures characters. There's people involved. The world is involved. That's why I enjoy working with Roland so often.
Roland's really good at giving the audience something to relate to, something to connect to. As an actor, you love that. He's always got your back. He's always going to tell the story, but also the guy knows how to shoot.
Hold up! Hold up!
Roland has a very clear vision.
He wanted to tell a really cool movie as well as a real precise film.
You have got to get the president to safety.
This film is really frenetic. There's a lot of energy to what he's doing.
Go, 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 go!
He wants bullet hits to look like the size of the gun that's being used.
I know he likes a certain look to the movie. The framing, quick cuts, short, fast.
Hold your fire! I think that man is a friendly!
The camera crew have protection on him because he's bringing the camera right into the action.
He's able to balance this symphony of elements, from the floor effects to the performances to the visual effects. His attention to all of that detail and the way that he's able to bring those elements together, it's pretty amazing.
My little girl is counting on me right now, and I'm not gonna disappear on her. You can't do this by yourself.
When you see him at the monitors, you can always tell if a director loves what he does.
We could be hour 12 or 13, and it's like he just got there. He just goes and goes. I think his energy rubs off on people.
It's just amazing to be a part of his movie.
I wanted to show how you could make action like in a different way. So it appeals a little bit for more people than only the action fans. We have a lot of big things happening in our movie.
We're in, let's go! What the hell are you getting in the back for? Sorry, boss, I have it.
The presidential limo has a nickname, is the Beast. And this is our version of that.
When we first undertook this, you look at photographs and you think it's a normal limousine. But as you start to figure out the actual size of it, the car is a true anomaly. It's brilliantly designed in that it looks like a limousine, but it is not.
One of the reference pictures we had was a Secret Service agent standing on the back quarter of the Beast, and he looked like a really small guy. If I scaled the car based on the guy being at least 6 foot, it suddenly made the car ginormous.
One of the things that's really brilliantly done about this vehicle from a design standpoint is from a distance, it doesn't look disproportional in any way.
So the car was actually blown up in proportion. If you've got no reference in scale, it looks like a regular Cadillac. Very cleverly done.
On the outside, it is the size of a large truck.
Realization, we're not just scaling down a limo, we're actually building a real car from the ground up. And then the time frame became really scary.
They had to produce 3 of these vehicles in a matter of 10 weeks.
When we first took on the project, obviously the first place to go for information would be the Secret Service. And we're told that as interesting as they found our project, they would be unable to provide us any information.
We knew we had a big problem. We can only see it with pictures, and they had to start with a Cadillac Escalade front headlight and measure the entire car from it.
Based on photographs, we took a 2009 Cadillac Escalade headlight and measured it. We were then able to scale a photograph and determine all the other dimensions of the vehicle.
Clearly wasn't a stretch Cadillac that had been shortened. It was actually a much bigger car.
The result was that everything on the vehicle had to be custom built.
You gotta be kidding me right now!
Once we extrapolated the dimensions from the headlight, we handed those dimensions off to a small team of sculptors. And those sculptors actually took a block of foam and hand sculpted the shape of this vehicle into that foam. That is then molded with gel coat and fiberglass, and the body comes out as one piece. We then place that body onto a tube frame. We used the frame of a 2005 Chevy Suburban to start with. We took the bodies off the vehicles, stretched the frame to get the right wheelbase, and manipulated the track to get the tires out to the 82-inch track that it has to have.
It's a good foot wider than most cars.
This wheel is 36 inches overall. That's the size of a semi-tire.
From far away, it looks kind of normal, and then you walk up to it and realize the massiveness of it.
I am 6 feet tall, exactly. And so you can see the ride height of this vehicle.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Beast.
It's a mixture between a tank and a high-tech command center, if you will.
Jackpot! I know you're into peace and all that. You gotta stick that thing out there and go to work. Damn right.
The thing about the Beast is it's supposed to be the most secure car in the world. It's built to drive over anything that's in its way.
Some people have referred to the presidential limousine as kind of a panic room on wheels.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Unbelievable.
One of the few research photos that we had showed how thick the door was.
The doors are impressive. The doors look like a vault.
And that's to accommodate the armor that's obviously in the real car.
My best guess is that the real Beast probably weighs 30 to 40,000 pounds, assuming that it has full class 15 ballistic armor. It's gotta be impenetrable.
Get your head down.
Once that door closes, the occupants are pretty damn safe.
Ow! Can you not hit me in the head with a rocket while I'm trying to drive?
We were given some performance requirements.
We had to beef a lot of things up, and one of the things that we made sure was good was the engine.
It's a 490 horsepower motor. It's the same motor that you would find in a Suburban or an Escalade.
It had to work, and it had to work well in a lot of different things.
It had to have the ability to crash through a wall, sliding skids, and be able to off-road.
We put that thing through its course, and it did its job.
There's something you don't see every day.
I think Roland's gonna have a lot of fun with some of the stuff. I wish I got to drive the Beast a little more than I did.
It's pretty fun. I don't know who's going to get to drive the bullet-riddled one home at the end, if it's still drivable.
The White House is big. Including below ground levels, it's 6 stories tall with 132 rooms, 412 doors, 147 windows, 8 staircases, 3 elevators, and 35 bathrooms. The grounds contain a tennis court, a basketball court, and a swimming pool.
There's a lot of pictures of the White House. It's one of the most identifiable houses in the world. It's so detailed, and there's so much secrecy around it, and then there's so little that we can actually do our homework about.
We said, let's do it just as real as we can. You know, it's like kind of quite fun. And actually, we had to guess about a couple of things like Air Command and POC. It's really hearsay that they even exist.
James William Sawyer.
They needed to meet a lot of people who did a lot of different things in Washington. They needed to meet Secret Service agents, meet people who worked in the White House, people who worked at the Capitol, so they could tap into these professionals and make the movie more authentic.
Did several tours in the White House and said, okay, here we could do this. I think this room is not good for us because there's not much stuff you can shoot up. We really talked in them. Probably they recorded us, like probably on some lists now.
They couldn't confirm or deny the existence of the tunnels or anything else. But we worked really, really hard to be as accurate as humanly possible. And where we couldn't, we went logically, okay, if we were running things, how would it look?
We have Castle Sky. The White House is part museum and part technological and security marvel.
Kale, come check this out.
Everyone would be fascinated by taking a look at where the Secret Service work is supposedly underneath the West Wing.
Good morning. Okay, let's go. Light day today.
The White House is a place that where you look at it and you just know there's got to be something else going on here.
Not all doors lead to where they say they lead. A certain door that looks like it might go into a closet doesn't go into a closet. Where it leads, we're not sure. It's a matter of national security. But one would assume that there are different escape hatches for the president from the different rooms and different floors in the White House.
Kurt Petruccelli is by far the great hero of the production because of the time frame that we had to build different elements of the White House to scale, including the State Floor, East Lobby. It's wild. He had construction crews working 24 hours a day.
65% of the White House we recreated. There is no location on this film. We shot every exterior on stage. Every single element of this film is an inside set piece.
It's like walking to a palace.
The really great thing about the White House is sort of the history behind it.
It's this glorious museum. You go through the ground floor, you see these magnificent paintings. In the green room,
we really pushed the limit of accuracy and detail.
the paintings all came from reproductions from the White House Historical Society, and we found as many antiques and specific pieces that are period correct. That room is used as an entryway to invite guest dignitaries, and there's very special pageantry in that room. So we kept it as close as we could to what's in the existing White House. The blue room is loaded with detail.
I'll go sit down.
The walls, the glass, the curtains, the doors, everything is as close as we can get with what's existing in the White House. Statuary, busts, small details on the fireplace. We reproduced most of them, built our own furniture for this room because of so much carnage that was going to go through it. We took liberty with the wallpaper because the wallpaper that exists currently is very muted, very light, and would wash out with cameras. So we deepened the value of it. Taft created the Oval Office. There was very specific detailing, very specific set decor, and each administration changes it. So we use that to our advantage. The Resolute desk is always the same, but the sofas, the carpets, the curtains, and the wallpaper are the things that we changed to our president's administration.
Get that hallway clear if we have to move. Go.
And all the artifacts we found, we wanted to be as close as we could possibly be. The state dining room, we used a very specific wallpaper, only available in Paris, which is very hard to find. Jackie O changed the wallpaper because she wanted to update the dining room when she and Kennedy were in office. We liked it so much, we went backwards in time for this wallpaper for the Presidential Emergency Operations Center. You talk to anybody within the Secret Service, you won't get any information. When we designed this, we want to keep lines clean, simple architecture, concrete forms, make it structural and make it built to reflect explosive armament, get you security, get you technology, get you communication with the outside world.
Radio chatter indicated they were headed for the PIOC.
You have to live in it, you have to eat, you have to survive what's going on outside.
This 18-acre White House setting is actually on 10 separate sound stages.
The White House itself is made up of 48 different structures that we built, and we had to reproduce everything. Architecturally, it's somewhat easier than it was with the decor. It is really loaded with detail, loaded with history.
If you could maybe be just a little bit more careful with the artifacts.
Nuances that you really would never know that they're there. None of the stuff exists. I can't just go to my local hardware store and buy a Oval Office carpet. Everything was custom built to the president who we have telling our story.
Tell me you got some weapons in the residence. We got some knives in the kitchen. Great, you can make me a sandwich.
173 paintings that we did. We did 400 doors. Every stone, every piece of tile we reproduced as exact as we could within the architecture. We had to build all of our light fixtures because, frankly, they don't exist, and they're so iconic that you have to do your best to reproduce them. And all this had to happen in a very small period of time. I'm really proud of those people who built this stuff. It was a challenging job. It's been very successful, and a lot of people worked real hard to make it that way.
The sets are incredible. You see these dudes working away in the workshops, and then you walk into these rooms and walking down corridors that go in catacombs, and they're very big.
I think what Kirk's sets capture are really the exact nature of what the White House looks like and how it works. He went to painstaking detail to make sure that the rooms were in the right place. They capture not only the august part of the White House, but also its sort of cramped nature.
The Oval Office had to be recreated twice because there's so many stunts. We happened to drive a car right through it. We had the press corps offices completely underwater. The blue room had a helicopter tail crash through it. The red room was shot up. The green room was put on fire. The Lincoln bedroom was on fire. The master bedroom was put on fire. The dining room, as spectacular as it was completely blown up. There's a few things going on.
I love what you've done with the place. The multiples we had to the decor.
I was location scouting, and we were in the real White House literally about 3 weeks before I saw the actual sets that Kirk built. So you were just there, and then you come back and say, wow, this is exactly it. This is awesome. This is cool. Only then you open the door and there's a blue screen. You know, and it's the only difference. And you're allowed to go everywhere. That's nice, too.
They built the White House to scale, which I thought to myself, this is really the White House.
One of the cool things about the movie is you're in this action movie, but you're also getting a tour of American history. You get to see if there is a secret room. You get to see if there really are tunnels. You get to see what it's like on the roof. We wanted to take you all the way through.
It's a character within our story, but it's a set piece, and the set piece has to function. Our characters have to understand it. We have to photograph it, and everybody came together at a perfect time with Roland in the lead. And Roland has a vision, and the best thing I can do is support his vision and allow he and everyone else to really blossom and go for it.
When you write the first draft and the second draft, you don't think about what the sets are actually going to be. So to have a team like Roland has put together with Kirk Petruccelli, the production designer, working so fast to put up these incredible sets. I mean, I'm sitting in the Oval Office. Like, I don't quite know how this has happened, but I'm sitting in the Oval Office talking to you. It's blowing my mind.
Hey. You're late. She thought you weren't coming.
Of course, I was gonna come. Sorry, hold on. Let's just roll that back.
That's right. Put it here.
We can't ever get that. We can't ever. Oh yeah, right.
Gobble gobble. Oh, you messed up. Gobble gobble. You messed up again.
We're rolling.
Gobble gobble.
Okay, come on. Light day today. Eagle will remain on the 24 acres. Yes, phone calls. They're like phone calls, but they're done with a phone call machine.
I know what it is, but we gotta get out of here. I don't like it when it's tight places. Look, we got enough problems. I can't worry about your claustrophobic. I run this shit. I run this shit. Don't I?
Good morning, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Could you get the president? Okay.
Yeah, you are the president, sir.
I am the president.
You know, I smoked a lot, and that's how my lips got black. You notice my face is beige, but my lips is.
What about securing the basement?
Well, I brought a little party favor for that. Good. But you know, you've got a bit of something right. It's right under your nose. It's just right. Never mind.
Easy. Is that the helicopter? It's the cavalry. Sounds like somebody making noises. To the left. And sounds like somebody going whoop, 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 but I don't know. I mean, with all the money they're spending on this movie, they could get something that sounds like a real helicopter. Do you know these men? That old son of a bitch that just killed everybody, his name is Roland. The old son of a bitch.
No. And there's a particularly nice touch of irony. The director of Homeland Security himself. Gotta watch my weight.
Wake me of civilization. It's these new teeth.
What's that helicopter still doing up there? We grounded all aircraft.
That helicopter's the only eyes we have right now. Believe. Oh, no, I do it. I'm sorry. What am I looking? Lance, I would have been great in the first one.
Let me crash the gate. It's 8 feet. It's 8 feet tall, dual hardened steel. Shit, that's hard to say. Go ahead.
Ready?
No, it's 8 feet tall, hard dude. It's 8 feet tall, hardened.
Ready?
All right, here we go.
You roar up the lamp at the lamp.
The shit is just hard to say. Say your shit now. Come on.
You roar up the ramp.
You can't be up too. You got the shit right in front of you now. I'm trying to act. Let's go.
Come out into the open and see the tank didn't make it.
It's got the hair.
You dumb son of a bitch! You think this is
Who
over?
you calling a son of a bitch?
I got friends.
I know you do. I'm gonna find evil, every shit. I'm gonna find evil. Don't you gotta do something?
Well, it ain't the Oval Office. I wonder if Bill Clinton was on this one. Smells like nuts.
Facial recognition's coming up.
Ambulances are on their way with paramedics. They're passing in front of the White House now, and that is a good thing to try to rescue some of the people who are inside. I have someone right here. Sir, were you inside? Were you a hostage inside the White House?
Yeah, I was a hostage. It was awful. I almost got killed by the ass end of a helicopter.
And it looks like you're holding a military assault rifle. Are you a Secret Service agent?
No, I'm a tour guide. Probably don't need this anymore. Excuse me, officer. Can you take this? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll grab that. I'll step back.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're being moved away. They're creating a security perimeter